Welcome to Courage Creation. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. You'll be able to hear my washer in the background, but that's okay. So this is going to be the Courage Creation of Loxodon Part 1. We are actually going to be changing their name first off, though, which that means we are going to go ahead and see if we can find a good name for the race. Don't. How do you pronounce that?
Blutiger Stoßzahn.
We don't have. No. Let me think. Okay. I've got a name. We're gonna go with Langlebig. And we're going to put that in Loxodon. We're going to copy that up here. Alright, let's come down here, because this was built back in the day when we were still doing economics stuff. So let's get rid of that. I have fantastic ideas. General info. The Langlebig or Loxodon in common is a known race is a race known for its long lifespans and large size. However, to note, these giants of a race are not calm and what's the word? Why? However, to note, these giants of a race, this giant of a race, this giant of a race are not calm and wise as one would expect for a generally superior race. No, instead, the Langlebig are known historically for their great warrior-like culture and devotion to the gods who support them. Alright. Let's go down here to gods. We're actually going to start kind of jumping around a little bit while we're building this race. So, now I don't believe in any of my lore that the Loxodon have a god listed. Now, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure... Oh, this is the wrong... This is not what I was looking for. I need to go to the gods page. Gods and realms. Little buzzed, little stoned, and I will typically be during these sessions as I'm trying to come up with something unique that I haven't done yet. And so, that is a Y. I did not think we had Loxodon gods. So, alright, this is where it's going to get really interesting. Okay. Note. Langlebig were known, primarily to worship, dragons, giants, and great beasts of history as their gods. Though no uniformed church has ever been discovered, it turns out that the Langlebig were known for having a large pantheon. This pantheon, however, would incorporate hundreds of hundreds of gods based on war, violence, and conquest overall. This is due to the fact... Oh, actually, here, we'll make that another paragraph. This is due to the fact that Langlebig were an extremely violent and muscle-focused culture who believed the strongest would rule. Thus, many of the race, as they conquered through the lands, would begin to worship whatever that local culture's warlike gods were to bring them into the fold easier. This many of the race, as they conquered through the lands, would begin to worship whatever local that local cultures would begin to worship. Let's go with that. Local cultures' war gods. Would begin to worship that local culture's warlike gods, making it far easier for the newly enslaved and conquered races to, I guess in a sense, merge. Making it far easier for the newly enslaved and conquered races to merge into Loxodon or Langlebig culture. Okay, we'll keep that, so we'll put that as heading 5. Perfect. Known diseases. I don't... Okay, we're going to spell this terribly, but I'm going to keep it. Stobzahane. Okay, well, or tuskless. Alright. The disease known as
Stoßzähne.
Stobzahane. Which would be the grammatically correct version. Or how to pronounce it. Stobzahane. There we go. Disease known as Stobzahane, or as it was called in common, would be common tuskless. Disease known. Wait, what? Or as it was called in common, tuskless, a disease which caused the Langlebig to have their tusks fall out at a young age, and to which they would never grow back, thus giving the strange and smaller appearance of a Langlebig. It's just basically the tusks falling out. That's it. We might add that later in to an event up here. Langlebig first tusking, we'll call it. I'll come up with a better name later, but I like the idea that it's like a major holiday, so we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so we got our first disease. Alright, heading 5. What's another one? We'll call it albinism. So, what is There really isn't. It's just straight up albinoism. Okay. So we'll actually write that down outright. Albino. We'll give it a fancy name then.
Fluch von Weiß.
Weiss. Okay, so it's two S's. Alright, we'll call this Fluch von Weiss. Or albino. A disease. I just like the simple change because it literally means curse of white. A disease that was uncommon amongst the. Wow. Amongst the Langlebig. However, it did occur and had unique effects compared to other races. Known in common as either albinoism, I believe that's how you spell it, or albinism, or a direct translation of curse of white. This disease would cause the Langlebig to become extremely pale, their eyes to turn a reddish pink, and trying to think, their tusks to become a almost polished black color. Though this disease is found at birth, it is believed that a child born with the infection would also mean that the mother was as sick and would eventually turn. Thus, most Langlebig at first would outright slay the mother of the child and later have the child put in a special military berserking unit. And I'll put a little note. In modern times, the few Langlebig that are left fully understand that it is not a disease, but rather a mutation that can occur and is mostly harmless to those who spend their lives fully underground. Alright. We are going to go ahead and give that a heading 5. And then... Alright, we'll have that in the military unit. Let's mention that up here. Special berserking albino Langlebig. We'll come up with a name here in a bit. Just kind of making a note of it as we go through for this episode. Okay, so we got the two diseases. We will put a character currently in here, which is Vasul. I think he only had one S. Yeah. And he will get heading 5. Yep. Actually, we'll just do a Vasul. Okay. A character of note during the year 37, and it would be, it's not BS. Oops, nope, not what I wanted. Race creation. Yeah, I don't think it is, but let me do a double check. Calendar. Before chaos, after chaos, before settlement, after settlement. Oh, so these should be AS. Oops. Okay. So these should be in the timeline, AS. Yeah, and they are. I've been doing the world news with the wrong date. Okay, well, good to know. Let's see, what was I thinking here? 37 AS. Character of note during the year 37 AS. Who? They're a large herd numbering in the tens of thousands. Noted to be the current savior and overall ruler of the Langlebig race. Okay. We'll get a character art of him later. Alright. Let's do Langlebig's first tusking. Let's rename that. Okay. We're gonna do this, and then we'll do Erster Stolzahan. Okay. Alright. Upon reaching adulthood, a Langlebig will have relatively long tusks in which they never remove. Should a child lose their tusks to a disease or never have them grow in the Langlebig will be forced into the famous front-line berserking unit until death. We'll put that down on its own thing. In which they never remove. During this time that the tusks are deemed long enough for battle, which is usually around 30 years of age. A great event is held called Erster Stos. Oh, I thought there was an H there, or an R there for a second. A great event is held called Erster Stoßzahn. Am I pronouncing that right?
Erster Stoßzahn.
Close. Okay. A great event is held called Erster Stoßzahn, in which the Loxodon, or the Langlebig of that era all compete to see who amongst them are strong enough to become warriors, and those who are deemed weak and sent to the berserking units. Units would be accurate. Okay. Childs lose their tucks before Z or never. The wig will be forced into the famous front line, and will not will not be allowed to compete or become adults in the Langlebig Society. Okay. That will be episode 1 of this, hopefully 3 parts. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode.